All right, so I know this means a lot to you, but when you found out that you were going in the Big South Hall of Fame, what were your initial thoughts?
Oh, obviously, I was humbled and honored, because, more than half my life is spent being in the Big South Conference, and I was there for not quite the start of it, but but as the league started, especially on the Division I side, and to see that league grow like it has, and all the naysayers back then, well, the league won't be around, it'll never get an automatic bid to baseball or basketball or any women's sports, and to see what the league's accomplished, and maybe I had a small part in that. It just meant a great deal to me.
What does it mean to you? I mean, I know this is probably something you've thought about, but don't even like to talk about. What does it mean to you to be the first sports information director to be going into the Hall of Fame, the Big South Hall?
Really exciting and a big honor, because I stand on the shoulders of a lot of other great SIDs that aren't in there, that left for reasons, or retired, or before they got a chance to come into a Hall of Fame. I think of some of the great ones. I worked with Rick Rogers and Mike Ashley up at Radford, Dave Snipes at Campbell, Stan Cole, who looks the same as he did 27 years ago when he first started and stuff, and of course Stan's still going strong. But I think of all those guys that I worked with, and to be the first really means a lot to me. But I'm also very pleased that the league recognized our profession. It's not just recognizing Mike Gore, which I like, which I'll be honest, I like, and which means the world to me. But I'm glad they recognize profession, because any tournament they organize, anything, any ball games they do or something like that, they always ask us to kind of go out and do it and stuff, and we do it. And I think we're the lifeblood of the league, in those tournaments or those games and stuff. And I'm glad the league's recognizing it, and I hope this opens the floodgates for a lot more.
You just kind of alluded to it, being around games and all these things, the many games you've been to. When you first found out that, or really as you've thought about going into the Hall of Fame, are there some moments that have stuck out in your mind?
Oh, sure. There's thousands of them, and you don't have enough tape in the camera. I guess I'm dating myself by saying that, aren't I? No, a lot of great thrills. Obviously. I think early on, we UNC Asheville, we went out to California my second year and beat Cal Berkeley. For the longest time, we had a perfect record in the state of California, and a winning record against Pac-10 teams and stuff. Now the Pac-12, but that was a great thrill. Winning out there, it was our first plane flight, and that was 30 years ago. And just being on Cal's campus and then coming back to little UNC Asheville, and to think that we had knocked them off was really amazing. I think of some great volleyball championships in the early 90s. I remember we won here at Justice Center before a big crowd. It was pretty much sold out. We knocked off Davidson in 4 sets to win a championship in 1991, and some of those kids had been on some bad teams as freshmen and stuff. So that was really exciting. That was really exciting. Obviously, when the men's team went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 2003, that was a team that had been picked to finish first. Really shouldn't have been. Had an up and down year with some injuries. And it's kind of like the basketball gods kind of smiled upon us. We won a couple overtime games, knocked off Winthrop. Alex Craigle hit a shot at the buzzer. I'm sure that that's still a nightmare to Greg Marshall and everything. And going to that tournament and then winning a game, being the first school in Big South history, men or women, to win an NCAA tournament game. We knocked off Texas Southern in overtime in Dayton in the opening round game. It was just ESPN was there. Dan Schulman did the play-by-play along with Len Elmore, and just to have that national attention for a couple of days, I'll never forget that. I think of Betsy Blos's 2007 championship at home. We hired Betsy after we'd gone through a 1-28 season, and for her, 6 years later to win a championship, or actually it's only 5 years later to win a championship with a packed house. I remember that's just some of the great thrills. Baseball winning it in 2006, being down 10-0 and coming back and going to the NCAA tournament a lot. Great athletes. I think of Natalie Pearson, and I can go on and on and on, as you well know.
Speaking of those great athletes, since people have found out, how important and how impressed have you been by people reaching out to you? Have you heard from a lot of people that congratulated you on this honor?
Yeah, I sure have. First when I retired a couple years ago, and then when I was lucky enough to get in the UNC Asheville Hall of Fame, and now this, I have heard from a lot of people from around the country, and just people that I hadn't talked to in a while and stuff, and that's meant the world to me and stuff. That's I'm enjoying retirement, but one thing I do miss is the interaction with the student athletes, and they did a lot for me. I learned a lot from them about all my knowledge of computers, which isn't much, but anything I got was from from them and stuff from working with us, because let's face it, those are some of our best workers was our student athletes when we hired them and stuff. So yeah, sure did hear from a lot from them, and it meant the world to me.
And finally, and I've talked to you about this before, but I know, one thing I know that you've been blessed with here at UMCS was working with so many great people. What, if you think about that, what's that been like for you?
That's great, because that makes the job worthwhile. It makes the job easy to come to work each day. And I was lucky to have to work with great coaches and great administrators. And I have to start off with by saying hats off to Janet Cohn and Terry Burney. Janet's been here since 2004, and Terry 2006. It really made my job easier. That found me more help and stuff. And I really appreciate Janet's leadership as we've gone in this age from just running off copies to having to video stream everything. And she really was a great leader in that, and understanding and getting us stuff for that. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate Terry's always being there to help us out and stuff. I mean, they say she's just she's a compliance director, but Terry does so many other things as well. And the coaches have been just great. I've worked with some great coaches, and the current crop's a great one too, and that made the job really worthwhile.
I realize how much you're involved even to this day. I mean, you live and breathe UNC Asheville, don't you?
It's a funny story. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and I was scheduled to go to Kenmore East High School, home of the Bulldogs, and I was really looking forward to going there. But then I had to move here in 1977. My dad got transferred and stuff, so I was only a Bulldog for I think for 1 quarter there and stuff. So and then I got this job in 1986. So I guess was always meant to be a Bulldog and stuff. I still keep in touch with a few people back home and stuff, and kid me about that. But yeah, you put your heart and soul into something for 29 years, like I did. You can't help but be a fan and stuff. And I'm lucky enough to still do the radio for men's and women's basketball, and do some writing for the Citizen Times on us and stuff. But Lisa can tell you that I'm always checking my phone to see how we're doing, whether it's women's soccer, men's soccer, or following Henry Patton at the NCAA championships and stuff and everything. So yeah, I'm still a Bulldog, always will be a Bulldog, and looking forward to some great years coming. I hope I can be a small part of them.